How we doing? Welcome to my first talk and train. Now the idea of these are very simple. I'm going to train at the same time as I have a chat to you all about what training I'm doing with whatever dog I'm training. So Winston is obviously a Labrador. He's a young dog. I would consider very raw, very green and quite untrained. He's getting better, but he's got a long way to go. So really I'm just doing some long lead training today, working on some sit stays and downs, working on his release, and just some basic, getting some foundations into this dog. So making sure, I'm going to give you some tips as I go as well. When we're doing a training, Winston, sit. That is tip number one. Name before command. I get his attention before I ask him to do something. If your dog is not focused on you, you can't expect them to listen to you if they're looking at something else. You've got to get their focus first. Winston, good boy. Down. Yes, stay. Now I'm being very formal, almost robotic with this dog, keeping it very clear with my words, no extra words when I'm teaching him the commands. Good boy. Free. And he can move. So that's pretty simple. A sit, a down, a free. I think it's very important that you teach from early days that there is a release from every position you put your dog in. Let's do a little bit of a longer stay now. Now with your stays, when you're working through them, don't rush through it and try and aim to get distance very quickly. Do little intervals over time to your end goal, which will be called successive approximation. We're not rushing to the end goal. If you fail at one level, you go back and you start that level again. Let's try this. Name before command, Winston, sit. So I'm giving the verbal cue, and then I'm giving the hand signal from there. Now there's a little separation there because we want to give dogs a chance to focus on the word and then watch the hand. The classic mistake a lot of people do when they're doing sit with a dog or a down or any exercise is they might, let's pretend Winston's never done down before and I go down. Now, good boy. Free. Is Winston hearing the word or following the food? He's following the food. He does know down, but with a beginner dog, that dog is really just following that food. So we want to make sure they hear the word and then they get the cue from you physically. So I'll show you what I mean again. Winston, sit. Good boy. Down. Like so. Okay? Now he's still learning. He's not responding straight up to the verbal cue, so I'm giving the hand signal as well. There's no food in my hand at all. Now if I want to really just reinforce the word, I might drop the hand signal out and give a little bit of negative reinforcement with the lead. So I put a bit of pressure. When he goes down, I let the pressure off. Let's do that again. Free. Okay, from here, Winston, sit. He knows the sit. Winston, down. Like so. A little pop of the lead. That's not a correction. I'd call it a direction. I'm simply giving that little pop down to show him what down means instead of the hand signal. Because eventually we want our dogs to be able to learn to listen to the verbal or the hand signal or both together, whatever it is. Now I'm going to do a little stay and I'm going to work over distance. Stay. Have my long lead here. Nope. Good boy. So a little bit of movement there and I stop the further I'm going. So I can clearly get this far with Winston. I've done it a little bit before, not very much. But I don't take my eyes off my dog. Even though you guys are watching me, I'm watching my dog. If he moves from there, it is vital that I reinforce and put him back in that position very quickly. If he moves, so I'm going to show you what a mistake would be. Now I want you to imagine here that I don't say the word free. I will release him though. So it's going to be a little bit confusing to Winston, but this is a teaching point for you all out there. Imagine I don't say this word, but Winston breaks the stay. Free. And he gets to here about that far and I go, no. And I bring him back over and I put him back like so. Sit. Put him back in the sit quickly. Good boy. Down. Like so. The problem with that is he doesn't really understand what he's done wrong in a lot of ways because he got like 6 steps away. We want to be quick. If your dog breaks a stay, they shouldn't even get into a full stand before you're like, no, or whatever word you use, and you replace them. The quicker they connect with what they broke, what position they broke, the quicker they learn that position. If they get 6 steps away, they don't know if they got in trouble for the first, the second, third, fourth, 6th step, doesn't matter. They need to know that the second they move, you're like, and you're on their case. The difference between a dog learning exercise in maybe a week compared to 1 hour could be just come down to your timing. You need to have good timing with training. It's very important with praise, corrections, whatever you use. If your timing's off the other way, they don't understand. Same with the praise. If your dog doesn't have a marker and you're praising them 10 seconds after an exercise, they'll eat the food, but they don't know it's for the sit. Remember that, okay? Free. Good boy. So let's do a little bit of recall now. Winston's wandering around. Winston, come. Yes. Now I'm not even after a sit yet. I don't mind if he doesn't sit. My objective with the recall is to get him to come. The sit can come later on. It doesn't matter. So we let him wander. Winston, come. That's a good boy. Remember, name before command. He's looking at my other dog over there. I say his name. He looks. Then I call my dog. Don't call your dog if you haven't got their focus. That would be like me with my back to you and you tell me a direction but you don't even know if I'm listening. I could be focused on something else. You need to be going, Jason, I look, then you tell me what you need from me. That is no different to your dog. The amount of people that call their dog when their dog is sniffing the ground and they don't even hear you and then they tell the dog off, so many people. You've got to get their attention. Let's do a little bit of walking now. Okay, ready? Let's go. Now I'm not even using the heel command. I'm really just teaching this guy. Yes. And you can see he's very receptive to wanting to learn. A little bit wide, so I'm going to steer him around. Sit. Try to stick to one command when you tell him to do something. What I mean steer is that's my lure to steer him around. Now those who know me well, I don't use a lot of food for a lot of dogs, but for a Labrador, I think food can work very, very well because they are so food driven, it can be a great training tool. But other dogs don't have a food drive at all, so you need to find other tools to better work with those dogs. But with a Lab, they clearly like their food. Now, when it comes to teaching heel or any position, we don't name it until they can do it. So in other words, if I'm walking and Winston was all over the place and jumping around, there's no point saying heel. He doesn't even know the position yet. So once you get your dog walking in a position fairly close to you and they sort of get the idea, in other words, you can use whatever you want. You might use let's go, and if you can do let's go and you can guide him around or her, and I can turn around and he's getting the gist of where I need him, I would say that there now can be named as a command. So I do this, sit. I don't like that wide sit on him, so I wouldn't praise that sit. If I reward that sit, guess what Winston's going to do? He's going to sit wide all the time. Don't tell them off, ignore them, and just move them back in or do another one, and when they do the correct one, then you reward it. I'll show you what I mean. Let's go. So if I turn, you do the sit on the turn. Sit. See that there? I'm just going to, he's got a little lazy sit, which again is a bit of a Labrador trait. I want to tidy that sit up. There's different tools to do that, but for today we're just going to use our hands. So I drop my left hand off the lead, I turn, get him coming in close, sit, and then just guide, there we go. Yes, good boy. Look at this sit. I don't care about that, but he's pretty parallel to me there. Winston's just not just, but he's a pet. He's not doing obedience trials or anything, so it doesn't matter too much. But anyway, back to the heel. So now I'm going to name that position. Winston, ready? Slightly before I step off, heel. Then I walk. Let's go. Heel. Good boy. We don't want to overdo it with the food. Let's go. I want to fade it away in time. I want to use it as a tool. Heel. Quick. Good boy. Heel. I don't mind adding the heel command in on most turns when they first learn. Heel. Because I want him to make him realise, let's go buddy, that heel means you walk to my heel, and if I change direction, yes, good boy. Now what did I do there? I gave no command. He followed, so I marked it and rewarded it. Good boy, yes. Oops, we dropped one. It happens. Yes, good boy. So any time that he walks with me without me having to verbalize, use the lead, I'm going to reward that to him. Steer him with his, yes, good boy. Good boy. Winston, no, see this wide sit? So I don't do it. I could see he was going to do that then. I anticipate it. I drop my left hand off the lead. Winston, sit. and I'd be ready for it, like so. Anticipate the behaviour. He's got a bit of a lazy sit, so I anticipate it. Let's do another one. Winston, look at this. Heel, quick. He's been at daycare for about 4 hours, so he's pretty tired. Walk around. I'm going to fix this lazy sit up. I get my left hand off the lead. I come up, I cue my dog. Winston, sit. Good boy. And I just guide him. He's not doing anything wrong, he just doesn't know yet. Let's do another one of those. Heel. Ah, good response on the heel. Let's go, quick. Good boy. We'll do an outside, let's go, outside turn. Yes, good boy. Get ready. Winston, sit. Just pull him in. Beautiful, good boy. We'll do it down from the side. Winston, down. Good boy. Stay. Be very clear with your hand signals. Everyone's got their own opinion of what signals you use. It doesn't really matter. Dog training is made way too complicated these days. Keep it fairly simple. Be very binary to your dogs. They can, they can't. Black, white. Yes, no. No grey areas, and your dog will learn. So there's a first, I could go on for an hour and do this, but that was your first little lesson. Down. Down. Stay. First little lesson, stay. My bad, I wasn't looking at him. In talk and train and moving around, I'm sure you got something out of that. Got some basics, some fundamentals, but Winston's got a long way to go. The idea of this is just to share some knowledge with you, make dog training less complicated, show you that you can keep it quite relaxed. Yes, I use food, sometimes I don't use food. Depends on the dog, depends on what we're doing. I like the term balanced trainer, you use whatever. Whoa, he broke the stay. I'm too late to tell him off, aren't I? Absolutely, I don't worry about it. It's no big deal. We're gonna work on it. We've got a long way to go. Good boy, buddy. If I told him off then, corrected him, it's too late. He won't know what it's for. He'll just think he's in trouble for coming to me. And I don't want a dog thinking ever they're in trouble for coming to me. That is a good finishing note. If your dog does break a stay and you're too late but they get to you, you just have to go, missed it, too late. But if they get to you and you're like, no, you should have stayed, all they think is coming from A to B to you, they get in trouble for it. And guess what? Then they don't want to come to anymore. Hope you enjoyed this first talk and train. I might cover some topics when I do this. We'll see how we go. As usual, please subscribe. I'm sure you got some information out of that, and that you can share with yourself, your dog, your friends, your family, whoever. And I really appreciate it. Help me grow my channel. And I'll see you all soon. Bye.